ripples spread out, growing wider and wider, touching the edges of the water. Isn't it so fascinating how something so small, so seemingly insignificant, can create such movements that spread even wider than we can even see? Now, what if I told you that you are that pebble? And that every word, every action, every moment of kindness, coldness, or selfishness that you show creates these ripples, whether we realize it or not? I had to learn this lesson the hard way. When I was in year 6, what some of you may call 5th grade, I failed a math test. And no, not any just ordinary failing, no. It was a big, fat, soul-crushing E. And no, that E did not stand for excellence. It stood for embarrassing, excruciating, and every single tear I shed that day. I remember clutching my test papers. My heart was pounding like I were auditioning for a drum solo. All I wanted to do was disappear. All I could think of was, what was my traditional Nigerian mother going to do to me that night? Like, can we start writing my condolences? But now, I remember I saw my teacher noticing me from a distance, and she came up to me and said, Uche, do you know that this failure is just a success in disguise? And I was like, what's this woman saying? I just got an E in math. But after a few moments, I now realized what she meant. Her words created a ripple in my mind. Well, instead of using this failure to define me, why don't I use it to refine me? So I started staying after school, practicing, asking questions. And sooner or later, I wasn't only passing, I was excelling. And fast forward to today, I'm now the academic prefect of my school, setting records and breaking even more to go. And it started from that one moment, that one ripple. Ladies and gentlemen, that failed math test was not just a bad grade. It was the first wave of a ripple of transformation. And speaking of transformation, did you know that you and I can even inspire positive ripples onto others as well? For example, kindness. Research has shown that an act of kindness can create such a positive impact on others. I remember when I came across a research in the University of California, and I found that when one person acts generously, it inspires another person to act similarly, creating a chain reaction that spreads up to a 3rd degree of separation. And this could only just remind me of that 8-year-old Uche at the grocery store with my mom. I remember we were shopping for items when we were about to check out. We saw an elderly woman who was struggling to pay. And I saw that without hesitation, my mom slipped out a bill and said, "Ma'am, don't worry, it's taken care of." And the elderly woman's eyes were filled with tears. She told my mom, "Ma, you don't know how much this means to me." This moment deeply resonated with me. It was small, yet powerful. It was a ripple. Inspired, I started looking for various ways to help others, whether it's holding the door open for someone, encouraging others, complimenting someone's hard work. However, I never expected anything in return. But one day, when I walked into school in my class, I saw a note on my desk that read, "Uche, you're doing great, keep going." I was stunned. I was shocked. It was like I was staring into a mirror. The same words of encouragement that I've given to others is now coming back to me. And that made me realize that in this life, energy, whether good or bad, always finds its way to come back to you. In this life, what we put into this world doesn't just disappear. It travels around, it touches others, and it returns back to us. That piece of paper was a reflection of how the smallest actions can echo far beyond what we can ever imagine. The truth is, small acts create big impact, and that's a fact. Imagine, look at people like Claudia's Cloven, who was just 15 when she refused to give up her seat, even before Rosa Parks. Look at Stanislav Rostov, who was a Soviet Union officer who made a split decision before the 1983 attack, prevented a whole nuclear war. Imagine these people didn't have any grand idea. They just started with one simple, small action, and they were able to create a global impact. Why can't we do the same? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end with this amazing quote by Mother Teresa. She said, "No, I cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone on the water and create many, many ripples." Thank you.